Briefly, Wendy, do you share that concern that in the rush to do a deal here, it could end up rewarding Putin for his invasion?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's very easy to talk about saying that Ukraine needs to agree, but Ukraine could be getting pushed into a corner where it's got absolutely no choice. If we look at the whole Donbass region, we know how economically significant that is for Ukraine. If it's losing things like its last coal coking mine, that's devastating going forward for the Ukraine economy. And I think we just need to go right back to what Putin's plans were when he took over Crimea. It's about weakening a democratic ally on its borders, because ultimately Putin still sees Ukraine as a vassal of the wider Russian state.
You've urged the Prime Minister to stand up to him again and again, but Keir Starmer has kept Donald Trump's ear throughout this, hasn't he? Was there any other option?
It's very difficult, but I mean, I have to say that in terms of the moment, I'm pretty much more where Joe was. I was pretty appalled by, and I think it actually follows on from what Ben said, that just how extraordinary it was in terms of how reticent Trump was and the lack of responses and the Q&A. And it's very difficult to tell, was this a plan of Trump's to kind of give Putin that centre stage, or indeed has he been flattered and hoodwinked by Putin? Because, in terms of a deal, is it significant that they met? Yes, clearly it is. But I think it's, and it's right that Trump spoke to Zelensky straight afterwards and agreed to meet him. But I think in some ways the fact that the Europeans feel the need to be in the White House and be in the room with Zelensky when he meets with Trump, I think is quite telling and tells how worried things are. And I'm going to make no apologies for my party, for Ed Davey continually raising the issue of Donald Trump. He talks about having a foreign affairs policy that keeps people on its toes, but is it right that allies are kept on their toes and trying to work out what the next thing might be? And indeed, as we know, the next thing changes on a very regular basis.